Hi and welcome to your very first video, your first of 3, on how to get famous for your flavour. Now, I'm actually right in the middle of delivering a 4-day seminar here on the Sunshine Coast called Mindset Mastery, and it's going like an absolute treat. So I thought it was a perfect time to talk to you about the kind of thing that I think is important to learn when you first get started with getting famous with our niche. So, the reason why it's so incredibly important to understand who your niche is, there are so many different reasons, but I'm going to give you the top 3. The top 3 reasons that it's really important to really nail and get really clear and really specific with your niche is because you need to be able to communicate inside what's important to the people you're going to be offering your product to or selling your product or service to. It's very important that you understand what's important to them. See, because if you just create a product or a service and then throw a big fish net out there hoping to snavel as many tuna as you possibly can, you're not going to get them. The wider you cast your net, the fewer fish you actually collect. But when you get a fish net that's specifically designed for tuna, then you go out and you fish where the tuna swim, and you throw your tuna net out, you're going to get more tuna. And that's just how it works. So getting really clear with who your niche is important because it allows you to communicate inside the heart and the minds of the very people that your product or service provides a solution for. Let's take, for argument's sake, say your product is jewellery, and it's ladies' jewellery. Selling your jewellery to young kids, 4 and 5-year-olds, that's not your market. Promoting your jewellery to elderly men, that's not your market. Promoting your jewellery to motor mechanics, well, that's not your market either, because motor mechanics can't wear their rings and engineers can't wear their jewellery. So you've got to find out who is going to wear your jewellery. Who is going to be the person who is going to appreciate and love and cherish your jewellery in such a way that they're going to show it off and talk about it to all their friends, which will then create more interest in your jewellery for you. Another reason why finding your niche is so important is because it allows you to create a foundation to be able to build and evolve and develop your product or your service. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by building a foundation is, let's say you target a market of female entrepreneurs, and I really encourage you to get that specific. Targeting female entrepreneurs, and your product is jewellery. Let's say you go after the female entrepreneurs and your jewellery is a gorgeous range of silver and leather and beautiful cubic zirconias. But in the process of offering your jewellery to your female entrepreneurs, you discover that there's a portion of female entrepreneurs that want to have solid gold, real diamonds, top of the range jewellery. They're not interested in your $30 and $40 range. They want your $500 and $600 range, and there's even a part of female entrepreneurial market that want to have your $5,000 and $6,000 range. So by creating a niche and understanding your niche, it allows you to have your product line or your service evolve and grow so that you're able to offer a number of different entry levels for your niche. You want to have a number of different ways that your niche can get hold of your product. Now let's say your service is coaching. Well, I'm a female entrepreneur, and I may not want to do one-on-one coaching with you. I am far too busy and I'm traveling all the time. So one-on-one coaching is never going to work for me. Having something just like this that's online and on the phone is absolutely perfect. But then there's Mary, who really loves the face-to-face. The whole internet thing is far too restrictive for her and it's not personal. She can't get enough feedback from you. So just in that scenario, both Mary and I you would class as female entrepreneurs, but we both have 2 different desires of what we want and how we want it. So getting clear on who your niche is allows you to get greater clarity on how you can expand and evolve your product. So what I'm talking to you about today is getting clear on your niche and then becoming famous with them. So let's look at one of the first ways to find out who your niche is, or to get some clarity on identifying your niche market. The people who are going to want and love what you've got, so much so that they feel compelled to tell their friends and other work colleagues about what you're doing. That's what you want to aim for. That's what you want to look for in terms of your niche. So one of the first places to look is right here. Have a look at yourself. Have a look at who you are. How do you identify yourself? Are you a female entrepreneur? Well, I know the people who are watching this video, and yes, you are a female entrepreneur. You may not see yourself that way. You may see yourself as somebody who just has a small business. And there are different ways of actually referring to women who are in business. But ultimately, we kind of are all the same. So that's the best place to start. Because you are a female entrepreneur, you can relate very well to other female entrepreneurs or other women who want to work in business. You can relate to them. You can relate to the kind of things that they go through and what they look for and the kind of support that they want and what's important to them, because you are one of them. If you're a mum, think about that. You might have a market or a niche in mums, where you're promoting your product or your service specifically to mums. And the reason that you can do it and do it really, really well is because you're a mum. You understand what mums go through with their kids. You understand the kind of worries and fears and traumas and dramas that they have when it comes to little kiddies. So you understand all of that. So that's another way to try and identify your niche. Have a look at yourself. Have a look at who you are, what you do, and then look for people who are just like you, going through the same things that you're going through and doing the same things that you're doing. So if you're operating a small business, look for people who are operating a small business. If you're a mum, look for people who are mums. If you're a dentist, look for people who are dentists. That's the very first step in establishing a niche for yourself. But don't worry, you're not restricted. You can have as many separate niche markets as you want. So you might decide, yeah, I'm going to go and work with female entrepreneurs. Or you might decide, well, I want female entrepreneurs and I want to work with mums. So you've got two separate niche markets that you can work with. The reason that we separate our niche markets is because our message for each niche market needs to be different. So the way that you communicate to mums needs to be different to the way that you communicate to business people and female entrepreneurs. Your message is different. Your product is the same, or your offering is the same, but the way that you communicate and your message has got to be different if it's going to communicate inside what's important to each of them. Classic example, entrepreneurs and mums. The things that are important to entrepreneurs is money, profile, cash flow, clients, getting known for what they do. The things that are important to mums are caring for their kids, making the right decisions, giving them the right food, having healthy, happy kids. The message, the things that are very, very important to both of those groups are very different to each other. So you must learn to communicate inside what's important to your niche, rather than communicating about what's important about your product. Another way to identify who your niche is to look at people that you do business with. So let's say, and I know you're all in business, so let's say one of the requirements that you have for your business is getting a website. So you need a website for yourself. That would pretty much mean that other women in business need websites for themselves. True? It's pretty straightforward. The best thing that you can do now is to say, okay, well, where are those women before they go and get a website? And then where do they go once they've already got the website? What do they need next? I call it unders and overs. Here you are in the center, or here's your supplier or your website or your doctor or the dentist or the school. Where are the women before they go to the school, and where are they after the school? Where do the female entrepreneurs go before they go to the dentist, and where do they go after the dentist? Where do they go before they go to the mechanics, and where do they go after they go to the mechanics? And then the best thing you could do is to establish a relationship with the unders and the overs. Who's got your clients before you and who's got your clients after you? That's another really great way to look at it. So instead of putting the dentist or the school at the centre of your unders and overs, put yourself at the centre of the unders and overs, where you're looking at who has your clients before you and who has your clients after you. So let's go back to the analogy of selling jewellery. You know, the person who might have your clients before you is a beauty therapist or a hair salon. And the person who has your clients after you could very well be a photographer, or could very well be a newspaper or a magazine. So start to have a look at creating alliances with those people, creating relationships with those people where you can add mutual value to the clients that come through all of your doors. Because the minute you do that, you're expanding your ability to get your message out to more people. When we don't do that, and we just rely on ourselves to attract our client base, we're kind of limiting ourselves because we're not looking at all the different opportunities and all the different places where our clients hang out. And that's the next piece, which takes me on to how. How do you get famous with your niche? How do you get famous with your client base? Well, it's actually fairly simple. You've got to know, what does your client base read? What does your client base do? Where do they hang out? Where do they go? What do they listen to? And what's important to them? Now, this is another reason why being really specific about your niche is super, super important. Because you've got to know where mums are. You've got to know what they're reading, where they're hanging out, what they're listening to, and the kind of things that are important to them. And you've also got to then know, if your niche is going to be female entrepreneurs, you've got to know, what do they read? Because it's different stuff to what mums read. What are they listening to? Where are they hanging out? And what sort of things are important to the female entrepreneurs? So getting really specific and getting very clear with your niche allows you to turn up where they are, to be in the places where they're reading things, to advertise on the radio stations that they listen to have articles in the magazines that they read, to speak at the gatherings that they go to. So being clear on who your niche is allows you to create a way of communicating with them, allows you to create a way of communicating with them that will be memorable for you. And then your job from that point on is to be present in all the different areas that they are. That's simply how you get famous with your niche. It's that easy. Give your niche multiple ways of accessing you. So don't just have one product. Have multiple ways that people can access you. Take myself as a classic example. You can access me just the way that we're doing this coaching right now, or you can access me by attending a networking event where I'm the guest speaker, or you can access me by attending my seminars, The Art of Public Speaking. So you can access me in multiple different ways. But where you'll also find me is advertising on Hot 91.1 on the Sunshine Coast, and I have a sponsorship arrangement with them, where all my advertising is free and they sponsor all of my events. I also show up at all the networking groups where you are, and I'm the guest speaker, because I know who my niche is. My niche are female entrepreneurs. You're my niche. And you know how I know that? Because I'm a female entrepreneur. So I know what's important to you. And then I have a product that delivers what you need. So now I communicate inside what's important to you, give you the value, make sure that I give you the solution, and then hopefully you go and tell everybody about it. And that's how simply it works. Because if it's just relying on yourself to go out and tell everybody about it, that's okay, but it's a slow process. Ultimately, you want to communicate inside the hearts and the minds of your niche in such a way that adds massive value to them and provides an incredible solution to them, so that then they can't help but become your raving fan. And that's how you can build your business almost overnight, by empowering others to become your foot soldiers for you. So I hope this has been interesting for you. I hope you've gathered some good information from this. We're going to be connecting on the phone call where we can talk more in depth and in more detail on what I've delivered here for you this afternoon. Good luck with it. Give it a try. Start working out who's got your clients before and after you. Start working out what your clients read, where they go, what they do, and what's important to them. Get real clarity on that. And then have a look at the ways that you can have your product or your service expand so that your particular niche that you select has got multiple ways of accessing you. Have fun with it, enjoy, and I'll talk to you on the phone soon. Bye for now.